That's Football. Nearly made a mistake there. Welcome to That's Football. It is our afternoon show. We've just done the Manchester City versus Liverpool watch along. We're now live with the 3 o'clock kickoffs, keeping an eye on all the games going on this afternoon. And the big news to start off with is I've got Xander with me, which I'll go to in a minute. But Rooney does start for Everton. Really tough to pick the pick of the games. I'm going to give mine, then Xander can give his thoughts. I mean, Leicester versus Chelsea I think is very, very interesting. Everton versus Tottenham, obviously. Arsenal, Bournemouth, they need to win that. Even Brighton, West Brom. West Brom are third in the league as it stands. If they were to win, they would be top before the United game. And Southampton, Watford offers some interest as well. So we'll be keeping you abreast of all those. Everton have picked Rooney. They've also picked Sigurdsson, Klaassen, Ramirez up front and on the bench for them. No real shocks, really. Morales on the bench. Spurs... Place on the bench for their new signing, Llorente. Kane plays, Ali plays, Ericsson, Davies, Dier, Sissoko, Trippier, Vertonghen, Alderweireld, Sanchez, their new signing as well. So keeping an interesting eye on that. And for Arsenal, let me just get it up. Arsenal do start with no Alexis Sanchez in this side. Yes, so he's on the bench. Alexis Sanchez is on the bench. Lacazette starts up front. Xander, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, mate. How are you?
Yes, not too bad, not too bad. Mixed thoughts about the results just gone before us for City and Liverpool. I don't think we learned a lot about City, but the red card killed it.
I said to you I was on the live comments, as you know, and I said I'd rather Liverpool win that game, even though yes, I am a United fan. However, I'd rather Liverpool win that game to protect United's chances of winning the league, as I think City are more of a threat to United than Liverpool are. However, as you know, I kind of was fearful of. City did win quite convincingly, but like you said, the red card killed the game. I'm not sure whether it was a red card. Look, it was dangerous play. It was very dangerous, I'll admit that. But it's the line between has he meant it or not, whether that warrants a red card or not. Like you said, Mark, in the last stream, if the referee doesn't give that, he's in trouble. He's going to get crucified. So I think it probably was the right decision, but it was a difficult one.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. 0-0 in all the games at the moment. We've got some live comments. Brian Cowley says he can hear you, but he can't see you. You should be able to see me, because I can see myself.
Probably talking about me.
They're probably talking about Xander. My stream's breaking up again. This always seems to happen when I have a Skype guest on, which is odd. I do need to be able to interact with the live comments, so let me get that working.
He's in trouble.
No, I don't want to watch the Man City versus Liverpool watch along. I've clicked on the wrong thing. Remember to subscribe if you're new. We want as many people to get involved as possible. Non-United fans. It's a generic football channel, so that's what we want. Cato Ellis says, I would never want Liverpool to win under any circumstances, so you've had a good day. And I can see you now, says Brian Coley. Pratik is on about that Nani thing again, saying he got a red card for way less versus Madrid. 0-0 in all the Premier League games at the moment. If you're a Norwich fan, you're pleased. You're 1-0 up against Birmingham. But pick of the games this afternoon, Xander?
I'm probably going to go Tottenham, Everton. I know you said Leicester, Chelsea is your choice, but for me, Tottenham away from home. So that I'm looking forward to seeing what they can actually do when they're not at Wembley. Everton, they're a good side. I'm looking forward to see how Rooney responds. Last time he was in a sort of controversial situation like this was when he got knocked out in his kitchen, and we saw how he replied against Tottenham. We all know that famous celebration. So I can imagine him scoring today, actually. But look, there's actually quite a lot of fantastic games on. Arsenal, Bournemouth. It's going to be interesting to see how Arsenal come back from their 4-0 defeat against Liverpool. So good games all around, I think.
Yeah, good games, good games. Have we got any Arsenal fans on tonight? It is 1-0 to Arsenal. Danny Welbeck has scored. That's my prediction, that Bournemouth wouldn't win there. Good start for Arsenal if you're an Arsenal fan. Have we got any Arsenal fans? Dazees Gaming isn't an Arsenal fan. He wants them to lose, but it's 1-0 to Arsenal. Danny Welbeck has put them ahead. I predicted they were going to win today. They need to win today, Xander. 3 points from their first 9. Home game against Bournemouth. It needs to be a home banker.
Yeah, they have to win. If they don't win, I can see the Wenger out banners coming out again if they're not already. You're going to see absolute uproar at Arsenal Fan TV and across the Emirates. And I think, rightly so, if I was an Arsenal fan right now, I'd be absolutely fuming. They might win this game. However, regardless, I think the state of the club is an absolute shambles. Pardon the pun about the Ramsey Instagram post. But I think the state of the club's an absolute shambles. And if they win this game, I think that's papering over the cracks. They've really got problems that lie deeper than just this performance.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they're leading at the moment. First goal in the Premier League this afternoon in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Danny Welbeck has scored for Arsenal, and they're 1-0 up against Bournemouth, which I'm quite surprised that Bournemouth have conceded so early. That's not normally the way things work at when the smaller teams go to Arsenal. They'll tend to keep a clean sheet for an hour, and the home faithful will get a little bit nervous. But not today. 1-0 up. Danny Welbeck scoring the goal, and see what happens after that. You know, maybe a 3 or 4-0 win for Arsenal today.
I think that's definitely on the cards, and I think, you know, Arsenal have now got that first goal. Bournemouth are going to have to try and come out. They're probably going to keep it compact for about 60 minutes or so, but that eventually, if they want anything out of the game, they're going to have to open up, leaving spaces in behind for Arsenal to exploit. So I think we could see a 2-3-4-0 win for Arsenal today.
Yeah, still 0-0 in Everton and the Leicester games. Leicester-Chelsea. Chelsea obviously losing that first game of the season, stuck on 7 points, which is not a bad set of points to have. If they were to win today, they'd be level with Manchester United, although United would still have the game to Stoke to go. Leicester lost to Arsenal opening game of the season, lost to United away from home. I didn't particularly think Leicester have had a bad start on the pitch, but the results haven't reflected that. They could do with getting something today. Do you think Chelsea will win today, or do you think Leicester have got a chance?
Just quickly in there, Mark, we've got 14,000 subscribers, which is, you know, fantastic to get on the new channel. So thanks to everyone for your support. Get subscribing, get liking, and let's grow this channel. You know, it's got massive wheels, it's got massive legs, and it's got the potential to do great things. Anyway, Chelsea, I think, you know, they've got a fantastic first team. I've covered it in my Battle of London video on this channel earlier on this week. I think they will win this game. Leicester look quite weak. I don't think they've got the firepower Chelsea do. And if things are going wrong for Chelsea, they've got players like Hazard to bring on, which obviously is a massive plus for them. I think you'll definitely see them win today.
Yeah, and then the Spurs-Everton one, I think that's probably the pick of the game, pick of the thinking person's afternoon fixtures, really. Everton, not a bad start to the season themselves, won the opening game of the season, lost to Chelsea last time. I think they've got 4 points. Spurs, Wembley curse, really, but they did win away at Newcastle the first game of the season. Spurs need a win, Everton need a win. Who do you think is going to come out on top in that?
I think Spurs will win this game. I'm not sure the controversy with Rooney's situation helps Everton. I think it unsettles them. I think Tottenham, away from Wembley, they don't have that pressure on them. I think they'll be set free. It is September, so Harry Kane can now actually score goals, and I think you'll see them win quite convincingly today.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens. If Sanchez out, next is Wenger, says Jaden G. I think Everton are going to win 3-2, says Uger. I think 13,000 subscribers from the United stand, says AE7. Well, you might be right with that, considering I present the United stand, but I'm sure in time we will get more and more people from other clubs getting involved, because that's what That's Football is all about. So make sure you do subscribe, get involved, and watch the daily content we're going to have up on the channel for you. I'm having a little bit of problem with my live comments. I don't know why, so I'm just going to revert to the ones on the screen. Thoughts on Madrid's start to the season, says Pratic. Well, you're living out in Madrid, aren't you, Xander? So what's your thoughts on Real Madrid start to the season, just very quickly?
I think it started well with the win in the Super Cup, 2 wins against Barcelona. However, they drew against Sevilla 2-2, Valencia 2-2, and now today versus Levante, they drew 1-1. So it's not looking fantastic. However, they've still got Ronaldo to come back from his suspension. They've still got Varane to come back from his injury. So it's early days, but they could have hoped for a better start, yes.
Interestingly enough, I did say don't write the eulogies of Barcelona too fast. I think Barcelona are going to be okay. I think Barcelona might win the league this year, but we'll see what happens. You don't? No,
I think Real Madrid will have it. I think Barcelona, I've said it, you know, in the video for people who have seen that. I think their squad is ageing. For the young players that they do have, I don't think they're that good. Players like Umtiti, Deulofeu, Ter Stegen, I don't think they've got the quality that Real Madrid have, and therefore I think Real Madrid will come out on top.
Barcelona play Espanyol tonight at 7:45 UK time. Everton win 3-0. Who do you support, says Issy HB. And Chrissia Prince has dropped a like on the video because he's enjoying the new content. I don't know what we're going to do in relation to this sort of show. It's just a little bit of time before I have to do stuff on the United stand. So there's some good 3 o'clock kickoff, so we thought we'd just go live. We did the watch along for Man City Liverpool, which was good. And we've got the watch along on Wednesday night, Spurs against Dortmund. So watch that. We've got daily content. It's a new channel. It's generally going to be talking about all sort of football main topics and covering the matches that are the ones that we feel that people will be watching. It's a neutral fan channel for everyone to get involved, but it wasn't neutral when Mane got sent off, that's for sure. Did you think it was a send-off, Sander? Do you think he should have been sent off or not?
Like I said, it's so difficult because he wasn't looking at the player. The goalkeeper did come rushing out quite far out of his box, so whether Mane knew he was there or not is a difficult one. However, it was a high foot, his leg was stretched, it was dangerous play. So by the letter of the law, I think, yes, it is a red card, and if the referee didn't give it, he'd be crucified. But it is a difficult one. You know, there's good arguments both ways.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the first watch along we've done on this channel, and it was a very typical sort of point that we wanted to make, that this is definitely what the channel is all about, and that is you might not be a Liverpool fan, you might not be a Manchester City fan, but there will be big talking points that everyone wants to discuss because they watch football in general, and that's what That's Football will always be about. No other goals in the Premier League at the moment. Still 0-0 in Everton, Spurs, and Leicester, Chelsea, and Brighton, West Brom. Some people might suspect that might be the way it finishes, actually, but we'll see.
Touching on that game, I've just got some stats here for you guys. In terms of possession, Brighton have got 56.6 possession, as opposed to West Brom's 43.4. Probably expected as Brighton are home. However, West Brom do have a pretty strong side, signing that Krychowiak, I think that's how you say it, from PSG. So I'd expect West Brom to come on top in that game. But at the moment, it looks like Brighton are dominating.
And just in relation to Danny Welbeck's goal, it was a typical Danny Welbeck goal. Cross coming in from the left, unconvincingly. I think it might have even hit his chest. Just seemed to wrong foot Begovic in goal. But they all count, and Welbeck's not known for his finishing prowess. But it's put Arsenal ahead. He's a grafter, Welbeck. I can definitely testify to that. And Arsenal currently leading 1-0. Very, very even in the Everton Spurs game so far, which I'm also keeping an eye on. And
what's going on in this Southampton Watford game then?
Mark, who will you consider in taking penalties? I don't want to talk about United at the moment. We'll talk about United in a bit. Best CDM in the world, Mark. Matic, Kante, Vidal, Matuidi, Nainggolan, Dembele, Schneiderlin. Shaka Phillips. You always come out with the crackers. There's a good point here from Pratic. He says Madrid are potentially 4 points behind Barca in La Liga, which is a 6 to 10 point lead, and that can become quite decisive even at this stage of the season. Yeah, well, La Liga's a pub league, isn't it? So you can sort of, if you drop points against teams that you shouldn't drop points against, you can sort of predict where the league's going to be. But they always, Barcelona and Real Madrid, always have silly results at the start of the season. So that Levante one, I wouldn't really expect that to see that once the season's up and running. So there we go. I didn't see Sané's second goal because I ended the stream at 4-0 because I wanted to go and do a couple of things, Corey. So,
I did.
Was it good?
I did. Oh, watch out for it on Match of the Day. If United win, you'll be on Match of the Day. It was absolutely fantastic. Outside of the box, on the right-hand side, with his left foot, curls it into that top left-hand corner. Stunner.
Oh, I nearly said good, but it's I'm not a Man City fan, but they got away with it today in some ways. I think Liverpool were the better team, but having said that, I'm not going to discredit City and say they don't deserve to be winning it because they were 1-0 up before the red card, and that's down to Liverpool's continued problem that defensively they are just very, very, very poor. James B says that Mata should take United's penalties. Okay, we've discussed that then.
Mark Bolton says Mark Pereira is playing for Valencia. They're kicking off now. I will keep an eye on that, see how he gets on, tell you any live score updates from that game.
Yeah, I think it's Valencia Atletico Madrid, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Weird kickoff teams in Spain. They don't normally kick off so early, and that Real Madrid game was an early kickoff. But they also have Champions League as well, which is why all our Champions League, Premier League entries are all playing today, which makes it a very interesting Saturday because you've got Everton against Spurs, Arsenal. Obviously, they're not in the Champions League. Sorry, Arsenal fans. I've just gave you a little bit of banter there. But Chelsea are, Liverpool are, City are, United are, and Spurs are. So they're all playing on a Saturday today. Kreshnik's back. I think Sanchez will move in January, says Izzy HB. He's on the bench today for Arsenal. Chrisia Prince is laughing at Liverpool. And thanks for that, James B. You did get that topic out of the way for us. We could do with another goal, Xander, that's for sure. We've got Arsenal in front at the moment. 15 minutes in, as typically with the Premier League. No other goals have gone in at the moment. Quite evenly between Everton and Spurs to keep an eye on that for you. And we've also had... Go on.
Leicester, Chelsea. Chelsea have got 65.8% possession. They're away from home, which I wouldn't say is too surprising, as we all know Leicester like to play on the counter-attack. So I think that probably fits into Leicester's game plan. They're probably willing to let Chelsea have the ball and hit them on the counter.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Owen Holmes says Everton Tottenham predictions. I think my prediction was that Tottenham would win it. Yeah, I do. I think they will.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
What are your thoughts on Leicester City? Do you think they can be a viable Champions League threat this season? No. I think that's gone. I think already it's going to be very congested for the Champions League as it is. When you think about there's only 4 spots and you've got United, City, Chelsea, Spurs, Liverpool,
Everton.
Yeah, it's going to be very congested. So I don't think Leicester City are going to get anywhere near it.
No, I'd agree with that. I said in one of my videos I did for this channel, I think if Sanchez goes from Arsenal in January, which there is a possibility that he might do, I think you might see Everton overtake Arsenal in the league. I know it's a long shot, but Everton have strengthened their squad quite considerably this summer. And with the problems that Arsenal have, Mustafi wanting to go, Ozil wanting to go, Sanchez wanting to go, I think you might see Everton overtake them.
Yeah.
It's a long shot, but... Mark, who's going to win the Prem from Leo O'Connor?
I think it's going to be... I think it's a very... although it's very, very early, I think it's a big day because I think Man City, I think, will be up there. I've not been very convinced by them, but they are picking up the points. And then United at Stoke, Chelsea at Leicester. If you want to win titles, then those are the games you need to go and win. I think we've already seen Arsenal drop too many points. I think we've already seen Spurs are going to struggle massively because of Wembley, and teams are going to go there like a cup final. Ironic, but they will. And I think Liverpool have already shown that, yes, they're a good attacking side, but they've got no plan B and they cannot defend. I mean, 2-0 down at half-time. It was obvious that City were going to get at them, and most teams would have thought we've got very little chance of getting back into this game. We just don't concede any more goals and lose it 2-0. And they end up more than doubling that score and finishing 5. So Liverpool can't defend. Arsenal are too far away. Spurs are going to struggle because of Wembley. So it's really about whether Chelsea and United can put up enough of a fight against City, who I think will be up there. I don't know your thoughts, Sandra, on that.
I'd agree with that. To quote Marcus, I'd agree with that. I think City, they've still got some problems in their defence. Chelsea, in terms of their squad depth, is questionable. How far will they go in the Champions League might affect how far they finish up in the Premier League. I think it is between United and City, in my opinion. I think we haven't really got an idea of how strong United are so far because they haven't played a top 6 side, whereas City have, Liverpool have. So I think on the 14th of October, when United play Liverpool, that's when we get a real idea of how good United actually are.
Yeah. Who do you think?
Still nil.
Who do you think is a better striker, Lukaku or Lewandowski, says Super 10? Different leagues for me, but Lewandowski still, at the moment, would be a better striker than Lukaku. I think Lukaku's got it in him, but at the moment, I'd still go Lewandowski. Oh, Izzy says, I think Everton could have a chance of winning the Premier League. I'm not even an Everton fan. I'm an Arsenal or Man United. I'm I'm Arsenal. Or Man United, Spurs struggle. I don't know what fan she is, but she's not an Everton fan. No, I don't think Everton can get anywhere near winning the title. But I do rate Koeman. I think he's a good manager, but I don't see them challenging for the title. I think they're in the Europa League as well, as I remember, which will mess up their league form if they take it seriously.
Yep.
When are you starting the United Stand show? Says Max Cunningham. R4 when the team news comes in.
Pretty still the same results as we had a few moments ago. 1-0 Arsenal, Bournemouth, 0-0 in all the other games so far.
It is.
We're only 22 minutes in though, so there's still a lot of time for teams to get some goals.
Premier League games have a tendency to be 0-0 at half time, to be honest. And as I said, it's a little bit unusual that Arsenal have taken an early lead, because they don't normally do that, but they have.
It's because the teams are settling in, seeing what the other teams are going to try and do, their tactics, etc. And then in the latter stage of the game, they open up, try and get that winner. And that's when you see spaces being created and teams being exploited. I'll tell you what, though, who's excited for the Champions League? I know that's slightly different subject to this watch-along, but God, I'm so excited for it. Under the lights at Old Trafford or at the Emirates. Sorry, not the Emirates. Not at the Emirates. So yeah, it should be. I'm nervous for it, but I'm excited.
This is the Champions League, yeah?
Well, the Champions League. Well, I'm more excited for the Champions League than the game against Stoke as a United fan, because we've been so Champions League deprived over these last few years. To see us really being competitive in that competition this year will be fantastic. But let's not talk about United too much, because that's for later. Dybala versus Belotti, Mark. Which is better and more suited to the Premier League? From Thak.
I like Belotti. I wanted United to get hold of Belotti, and I think Chelsea were after him as well. I think he'd score a lot of goals in the Premier League, maybe more so than Morata. But I think Morata's going to score quite a lot of goals as well. Dybala's a little bit more withdrawn. I think I do like Belotti, but I think I'd have to go with I'd have to go with Dybala, just because I think Dybala's got that potential. But I think we'll see Dybala probably at Barcelona or Real Madrid. I think that's where his destination is likely to be.
Didn't he just recently sign a long-term contract?
Yeah,
I think he might.
Yeah, he's probably got a get-out clause though. They always have.
Yeah. 250 million or something stupid like that.
Jack Brady says Manchester United are going to win the league. I hope so, as a Manchester United fan myself, but I do think that City are starting off very well. They've had, as I said, the Bournemouth game, very lucky, very late on to get, thanks to Mike Dean, they got 3 points. The game today, I don't know. There's no way they win that game 5-0 if Mane stays on the pitch. They were 1-0 up at the time, but Liverpool was still the most dangerous side. So things are going City's way, but on the other hand, things are going United's way as well. And I think Chelsea could be a factor, but I think Chelsea have got to win these sort of games today. They don't want to lose any more ground. And that game later on, United versus Stoke. United haven't beaten Stoke in 4 games. And it's a difficult place to go, and Mark Hughes is always up for it against United. So massive test today. I think if United can beat Stoke or Chelsea can beat Leicester, as much as City beat Liverpool 5-0, I think there'll be more impressive results because of the circumstances.
What I will say though, Mark, about that Liverpool City game, a lot of City's goals didn't actually, the sending off didn't necessarily affect the goal specifically. It affected the result and the performance of Liverpool in the fact that they might have to park the bus a little bit more and be less expansive. But a lot of the goals were just defensive errors from Liverpool that, if Mane was on the pitch, would have happened anyway. So I think that is something to take note of. And Liverpool are so poor defensively. I think they're just counting on the fact that they're going to outscore teams, which against teams like City and in special circumstances in terms of red card won't happen.
Yeah. We haven't had a goal yet. We have had a goal. Danny Welbeck scored, if you can count that as a goal. Yeah,
still 0-0 in all the other games. Let's hang on. Let's go. Everton, Tottenham. Hang on. Everton and Tottenham have played 50 times. Spurs have won 23 times, 15 at home and 8 away, and they've drawn 19 times. So there's a little head-to-head stats for you, clearly in Spurs' favour. That clearly matches up with mine and Mark's predictions for Spurs to go out and win this game.
But they haven't scored yet.
No, they haven't scored yet. 27 minutes in, what I've got on my laptop. Got that new signing, Davinson Sanchez, starting from Ajax. Looks to be a good pacey centre back.
There's a goal.
Is there? That's probably the most unenthusiastic celebration of the goal.
I'm just tweeting somebody as well. It's Tottenham who've scored in that game, which is great. Tottenham 1-0 up against Everton. We've all predicted that would happen. Leo Connor says it'll be 1-2, and it's Harry Kane who scored. I tell you what, I'm having a good fantasy Premier League so far, because I have got Harry Kane, I have got Gabriel Jesus. I need Lukaku to do something for me a little bit later on. But 1-0 to Everton, and it's a cracking goal by all accounts.
To Tottenham.
Sorry, 1-0 to Spurs, not Everton. And I think Spurs... I don't know what your thoughts are, Xander, and people at home. I think Spurs are a very, very good side. I think they haven't won the title because they are inherently bottlers. But Pochettino is gradually turning that round. Arsenal are 2-0 up as well. Alexandre Lacazette has scored. Looking like 3 points for Arsenal already. They won't be able to have a moan after the match today, which will be a bit of a novelty for them. But Arsenal winning 2-0, Lacazette and Welbeck, and Spurs winning 1-0 away to Everton. But back on that Spurs point, I do think Spurs are a very good side. The Pochettino's a good manager, and they are a good side, but they have messed up their their title credentials by playing at Wembley, because exactly what happened to them before the international break. Teams like Burnley go to Wembley. It is their cup final. They may never get to play at Wembley in their life, and they play out their skin and they get a point. Spurs cannot win this title because they are playing at Wembley, because every game is going to be very hard at home. But I predicted they'd win today because they're a good side, Sander.
Yeah, they are. I echo those thoughts exactly. I said it in the past few videos. I think Spurs will miss out on top 4 purely because they're going to struggle at home due to the Wembley effect. Just quickly on Arsenal, Alexander Lacazette scoring. He looks like a fantastic signing so far for them. Danny Welbeck with the assist. So if you've got Danny Welbeck in your fantasy Premier League, which is, I think, unlikely, but he's got a goal and an assist for you, so you're doing well there.
Yeah, I don't think anybody with any football brains is ever going to put Welbeck in their fantasy Premier League team. But if you did, well done. You're having a good day. Matthew McFadden has made a contribution. Thank you, Matthew. And he says Kane has scored a screamer, apparently. First game in September, no coincidence whatsoever. I don't know what he's on about. I must be missing something there. Kane scores a screamer. First game in September, no coincidence whatsoever.
Kane doesn't score in August. He's got a really bad record of scoring in August. So it's now hit September and he can finally score.
He knows it. He knows it. He knows it. Varun's captain in Fantasy Premier League is Kane. Remember, if you do like Fantasy Premier League, we got a link in the video description to Fantasy Tote. It is like a Fantasy Premier League game, but you can play it and win money on it. So you can enter 5-a-side games, Team of the Week, traditional Fantasy Premier League. There's loads of games in there. Link in the video description to sign up. I'm doing the Stoke versus Manchester United 5-a-side game where you can only pick 3 from one team. So I've got to pick 2 Stoke players. You pick a captain, a defender, goalkeeper, defender, 2 midfielders and an attacker, and then your 5-a-side team, it's how they score in Fantasy Premier League, and if you get the most points, you win or share the pots, depending on how many other people get the same points as you if you win. So I played it the last couple of weeks. It's good laugh. Link is in the video description if you like that sort of thing. Lacazette's a goal scorer, James B. James B is just saying Lacazette scored a couple of times but hasn't done anything particular. There's more to his game than goals, but it isn't showing that so far. Well, goals, he's not a flop, is he? I think people are too eager to call people flops. I don't think Lacazette will be a flop, but he's not going to help Arsenal win the league either. He's just, they do need a goal scorer.
I think I remember someone calling him the French Jermaine Defoe.
Yeah, that was me. I think he is the French Jermaine Defoe, because Jermaine Defoe does score goals, but he's not. You know, I think I think Arsenal fans are like thinking Lacazette's like going to be the next Henry or something. He's not. He'll score your goals, but Jermaine Defoe would score your goals as well. He's definitely an upgrade on Welbeck, and I think he could score 20, 30 goals this year. But I don't think he's the sort of player that's going to turn Arsenal into title contenders.
Yeah, I think their problems lie deeper than just a clinical striker. They've got problems in the board, higher up in terms of the manager, and all over the pitch in all positions they've got problems. So I kind of agree with you that he's not going to win in the league, but I think he's a fantastic signing.
Yes, well, everything going to plan at the moment. I'm just thinking about my predictor league that I do on Super Brew, and I predicted a City win, although I didn't predict 5-0. I think that was just a bit of a freak result because of circumstances. I think I went 3-0 Arsenal against Bournemouth, so I'm on the way to that. And I did predict Spurs to beat Everton, although early days, nothing in the Leicester game against Chelsea, and nothing in the other two at Brighton and Southampton. A few people asking on the Sane goal against Liverpool. I haven't seen it. I had to go and do something in the last 10 minutes of that game. I mean, we were doing a watch along on here, but I saw the other 4, but I didn't see that typically. But Zamba said it was a cracker.
It was. He just from outside of the box on the right-hand side with his left foot just bent it round into that top left-hand corner. It's a fantastic goal.
Oxlade-Chamberlain joining them is very, very funny.
I'll tell you what, though. I saw him doing Oxlade-Chamberlain do an interview, and he said that he wants to play in that central attacking midfielder role. And if Liverpool are going to try and shoehorn Coutinho into any position, it will probably be through the middle, because they want Salah and Mane on the wing, Firmino up top. So it'll probably be in that kind of number 10 spot. And if that's where Oxlade-Chamberlain's planning to play, he's got problems with Coutinho.
Yeah.
Would you have taken the money for Coutinho, Mark?
I think they need him now, because Mane is going to be probably get a 3-match ban actually. So Liverpool's squad depth is their big problem. So I bet they're happy they've kept Coutinho now. But if that Mane incident didn't happen, I think that they were quite happy with Firmino, Mane and Salah as a front 3. But obviously squad depth means that it's a way back in for Coutinho now.
They have got Sturridge as well as a backup for Firmino, and that Solanke from the young player from Chelsea they got from Chelsea. What is your opinion on Sturridge? Do you think he can replicate that form that he had in that season where they almost won the league?
No chance. I think I don't know whether we've got any Liverpool fans watching. They're probably in mourning. But yeah, Sturridge is Sturridge is a joke as a player, and most Liverpool fans I speak to will repeat that. He is he's just way too injury prone, and that undermines anything they want to do.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I don't think his ability is second to none. I think he's a fantastic player in that terms. He can score goals, he's skillful, he's fast. It's just he can't seem to stay out of that injury room. So, it's a bit sad, because you never want to see a fantastic player plagued with injuries. This is a neutral channel. I know he's a Liverpool player, but at the end of the day, it is sad. He is a fantastic player. But same with Phil Jones, isn't it?
I think in fairness, Phil Jones is injury prone because he genuinely does get injured.
Just a nutter, isn't he?
I think Sturridge has and it's been hinted at by Brendan Rodgers, and it's been hinted at by Klopp. I think if he gets a paper cut, he's out for a week. I think he's got a weak mentality. I mean, that's only an opinion, but just from the things that you sort of hear, I suspect that is the problem with Sturridge, and he will always be injury prone. But he's a good talent, but he's just not interested, is he?
No comment. 34 minutes into the Leicester-Chelsea game, 0-0 so far. In terms of stats, Chelsea still have 65.2% possession. They've had 2 shots on goal, 2 shots on target, 2 shots on goal. So they seem to be pretty dominant in that game so far.
Professor FC says Sturridge prefers to play Call of Duty at home more. He intentionally fakes injuries. Well, I will. Yeah, okay. Jack Wilshere's another one. He gets hurt getting out of bed, says Oxer. And Shaka says, who do you think is the best striker in the league? I think it's Aguero or Lukaku. Harry Kane could probably jump himself into that conversation, to be honest. And who will get relegated, Mark? I think Newcastle, says BJ Breakfast. I think Newcastle will spend the money in January to stay up, and you know, Benitez is a shrewd manager. I just don't understand why they've not spent any money. I do think that who came up? Huddersfield and Brighton. I think Brighton will struggle. Huddersfield have had a good start, but I suspect that, you know, teams have good starts because it's all new.
Hull had a good start last season. They're at top of the league 2 or 3 games in, and you saw them go down. So
yeah, I think Huddersfield and Brighton, and then I think we'll see one other. But I'm not necessarily thinking Newcastle. I think it could be somebody else. There we go.
One thing on the City-Liverpool game earlier, you saw Aguero for one of the goals play a square to, I think it was Gabriel Jesus. And that's a fantastic thing to see as a City fan. A strike partnership. Aguero could have easily gone for goal there, but he's quite happy playing it over to Jesus, get the goal, secure the win, and which is obviously a positive thing to see as a City fan.
Yeah, definitely. And also, very, very interesting that when it comes to... we've got a goal. We've got a goal. We've got a soccer goal. It's a goal, and it's Southampton versus Watford. Oh, I was thinking about putting him in my fancy Premier League. I think he's a midfielder. Ducour scores in the 38th minute for Watford. He's bang cheap as well. I'm gonna have to get him in. But,
you were thinking about putting Ducour in your fancy Premier League?
I was, yeah.
Well, fair play to you. Fair play to you.
Well, you can search around who's cheap and who's getting points, and he is getting points. So,
yeah, City have pretty much caught up United's goal difference, but now City are on a +8 goal difference compared to United's +10. United obviously being able to bump that number up today against Stoke. I don't think that'll be too high scoring because Stoke are obviously quite good at shutting up shop, really. But there you go. There's the goal difference for you.
Yeah, even with City's win today, 5 goals, then they're still 2 behind United, who've got a game in hand.
Sure.
But that can all change. It can all change.
Oh, it's so early on in the season. It's match week 4. We've still got, I don't know, 30, I don't know, however more weeks to go. So anything can happen. That's football, eh?
That is football.
And fair play to Drawty. Look behind you, Mark. The new logo and the new branding. Looking good, looking good.
We make a good team. Make a good team, that's all I can say. You can't, you know, good looks alone won't do it. You've got to have the set. And hopefully we'll be able to get Sander more involved in the live comments as well. I've got a couple of other people we want to get involved. But that's for you lot. We need to be driven by the sort of content you want, and it's got to be, you know, football that anybody can comment on. It'd be ridiculous to do like you know, we do watch-alongs for certain games, but we really want to, you know, discuss things that are generic and neutral. So give us your ideas. It's still 0-0 Leicester versus Chelsea. I thought there'd been a goal there, but it's still 0-0. Southampton losing to Watford. Watford haven't had a bad start to the season either, you know. They've not. They've got a few more points than I think people would suspect that they do have. I'm sure they've got about 7 points, Watford, or maybe I'm being a bit generous towards them. No, 5, which isn't bad. Middle of the road. Middle of the road for Watford. Certainly don't think they'll be going down. I think he's a very good manager. Just to, you know, this is why I like this channel, because you can talk about more general things and how often does a Watford manager get discussed. But I think he did a very, very good job at Hull, and he's doing he'll do a good job at Watford, and I think he will end up with a decent job in the Premier League in the next couple of years. Maybe Pochettino moves on, and Silva goes to Spurs because he was unlucky not to get the to keep Hull up, and Watford snapped him up.
I don't think you'll see Pochettino move on, Mark. I think he's building something there. He's got fantastic young players with brilliant potential. He's brought in Serge Aurier, Davinson Sanchez. He's looking to build something there, and I think
Chelsea won, Liverpool, Leicester 0. Guess who's the scorer? Morata has scored for Chelsea.
Bloody fantastic so far. Now that's 3 goals, 2 assists in his first 4 appearances. I think United were in for him. I know they got Lukaku, but Morata doesn't look a bad player at all.
And we've got a goal coming in at Everton as well. It says they're all going in at the moment. Morata scoring again though. All the new boys are scoring at the moment, and it's 2-0 to Spurs.
Oh.
Eriksen, if you've got him in your fantasy Premier League team, he scored. It's 2-0. They're moving away from Everton there. The quality is coming through as predicted, and Spurs are 2-0 up. Chelsea are 1-0 up. Arsenal are 2-0 up. City have won. So the big boys, apart from Liverpool, well, I did say the big boys are all doing well. They're all doing very, very well. Morata, Lacazette. This is what I mean. Don't call strikers flops. You know, they might not in Lacazette's. Is he going to be enough to make Arsenal win the league? Is a person who can put the ball in the back of the net? Is that enough with all other Arsenal problems? Probably not. But Morata at Chelsea, is he going to? You know, again, people want to call him a flop. They got rid of a striker who scored a lot of goals in Diego Costa. So Morata, unfortunately, to be a success, has got to score the goals that Costa did and more to be better than Costa. So, but Morata will score goals. He was Mourinho's first choice. Lukaku was second choice, and Chelsea's first choice was Lukaku, and Morata was their second choice. So it's weird how it worked. I think they're both very good strikers, and I think they're both going to score a lot of goals. I don't think they're going to be the reasons why each team fails. I think one of them, they can't both win the Premier League, but the Premier League's improving. We might not have the best, you know, the Messi, the Ronaldo, but I still think we've got the best consistent quality.
Has Morata got the potential to get the golden boot mark for you?
I don't know. In relation to Chelsea and Conte, I'm not convinced that Chelsea are a team that's going to go and win 4 or 5-0 every week. We'll see now. I suspect Chelsea might see this game out and, you know, maybe win it 2-0. I think I predicted they'd win it 2-0 on my predictor game. So
I think they've still got Hazard to come on though. That's a, you know, if they're winning like this in their without essentially their best player, you've got to have a shout for them to really steamroll teams once Hazard comes back in the team.
Exactly, and if you know, that opening day result for Chelsea, let's be honest, that opening day result was a little bit of a fluke. They had 2 players sent off, and if they'd won that, they'd have maximum points, wouldn't they? Didn't they beat Spurs? Yeah, so they'd be up there. They're only a couple of points behind, and it looks like they're off to a good start against Leicester, which potentially is a difficult game. As I said, I think if Chelsea win this game today, to me, the next hurdle for Chelsea is whether they can do European football and Premier League, because they didn't do that last year, and that is a massive advantage. Yeah,
I said that they've got a thin squad. They've got a fantastic first 11, but they've got a thin squad, and like I said, it depends on how far they go in the Champions League. If they go far, I think you could really see them drop off in the Premier League. Check out the comments. Who's saying what?
If you're new to That's Football, make sure you click that subscribe button in the right hand corner. And I'm going to set you a little bit of homework this week as well. If you are new or you are enjoying That's Football, make sure tomorrow, family, friends, work next week, tell them about That's Football, because it doesn't matter whether they support a different club to you. This is the channel that's going to be very interactive with the live comments, and we're going to have call-ins, we're going to do watch-alongs and all sorts of content on here, but it's going to be for all. We're going to include everybody, and we want that to happen. So make sure, and you can also click the share button underneath this video and share it on your social media, etc. And let's get as many people involved as possible, because, you know, we've got experience of doing this on the United Stand, and we get a lot of good feedback about what a great community it is and all that, and that is exactly what we want to build, but for everybody, so that we can all discuss football. Because I don't just watch Manchester United, I watch a lot of other things, and I talk about a lot of other things, and that's what this channel's about. We want to build that community where everybody can talk about everything. You're right, it is 2-0 Crazy Pizza Gaming to Spurs. We did discuss
Brighton have scored, I think.
And Brighton have scored against West Brom. Corey Brown has let us know about that. I missed that. And it's their first ever Premier League goal, says Tubes. Tubes also did ask a minute ago, Xander, what's the score in the Valencia Atletico Madrid game?
I'll get on that. I think it's still 0-0 because I haven't got any notifications on my phone. I've got, yeah, it's still 0-0. 28 minutes in so far, 0-0 Valencia Atletico Madrid.
If you're interested in Andres Pereira, I know we've got a few United fans on here. Joe Hepner's watching that game. Sorry, Joe Stanley's watching that game. Joe Hepner is watching this show as well. I'm also watching Pereira playing for Valencia right now, and he's doing well. Let us know where he's playing, Joe.
He's playing on the left-hand side.
Playing on the left-hand side. Well, we needed a left winger. Although Mourinho did come out. Mourinho came out yesterday and said he didn't want him to go.
I wanted to address that. I was going to do a live stream on my Twitter, but we might as well talk about it here. I think that's worrying when you see a young player, have essentially a problem with their attitude, not willing to fight for a place. That worries me. I don't know what you think about that.
World Cup year, could get in the Brazil squad, can play every week for Valencia in a league where Brazilian coaches like players to be playing, or stay at Manchester United and potentially play a handful of games at best.
Fight for your place.
I think he's made a selfish decision to try and get in the World Cup squad.
I think he's made a silly decision. I think he would have done it himself, and he would have shown to Mourinho that he's willing to stay here, fight for his place, and really get into that United side. It's a difficult thing to do, but getting into a United first team is never easy. It's never easy. It's never going to be easy. It's not going to be easy next season. We're going to strengthen regardless, and he's going to come back and have the same problem. He needs to stay and fight for his place for once instead of going out on loan.
Half time. Arsenal 2-0 up against Bournemouth. Brighton 1-0 up against West Brom. Spurs beating Everton 2-0. Chelsea beating Leicester 1-0. Watford beating Southampton 1-0. Those last three games, all the away teams winning. Spurs, Chelsea and Watford. We've got a goal in every game. That's good. It wasn't looking like that for the first few minutes. So we've got a goal in every game. Looking like a good match of the day so far. I don't know how your team's doing. But should be a good one. And yeah. Decent Saturday. Decent Saturday. All the big sides playing. Not if you're a Liverpool fan, not so good. But it's a career step for him if he gets selected for Brazil, says James B. Just talking about Pereira there.
That's a good question. From Oxford Brizzle 1984Y. He said, has Slaven Bilic been sacked yet? Wonder who will be the first. That's a good question. Who do you think will be the first manager to get sacked this season, Mark?
Well, West Ham are playing on Monday night against Huddersfield, who their managers just won Player of the Month. I think West Ham will win that. But Bilic is not a bad shout. I just don't think he's going to turn it around at West Ham enough. They were doing quite well in his early period, but he's definitely struggling at the moment. I think Hernandez is a good signing for them, and I think he'll score a lot of goals. Who do I think will get sacked first? Bilic is probably a good shout. Maybe the Southampton manager. They've not had a good start to the season, and they've got a good squad. I don't know, Xander. Anyone else jump into your mind? Benitez?
Not for yet. Maybe. I think the Newcastle fans love Benitez. I think Benitez. I think if he leaves, he'll walk because he's made it clear that he's not been happy with the backing from the board. Newcastle fans are happy with the work he's done for them. So I think if he does leave, he'll walk. What do you think about Conte eventually being sacked?
Well, he's not looking like he's going to get sacked at the moment, is he?
No, but I think the wheels at Chelsea can easily fall off, and Abramovich will have no problem with sacking a manager. We've seen that in the past. Di Matteo winning the Champions League, getting sacked. Jose Mourinho winning 3 league titles for them, getting sacked. So I think it is a good shout for Conte to be sacked at some point in the season.
Peter Doyle has just made probably the best comment. Is we've all missed this one. De Boer at Crystal Palace.
Oh yeah, of course. There you go.
9 points dropped already. I think they've got to win tomorrow. I think they're playing Burnley away. I don't want him to get the sack because he plays Fosu Mensah every week. But back to Conte, he will get the sack at some point. But if they keep winning, he's obviously not going to get the sack. But he's an odd manager, Conte, and I think this season we'll understand. It sounds odd to say it when they're champions, but I feel that last season was a lot of Mourinho's players that were down tools for Mourinho, and then picked them back up again, and Conte benefited from it. This year, he's going to have to manage and do it off his own. You know, he's let Matic go, and they're
brought in Danny Drinkwater.
Yeah, they're playing European football as well, which I think they've got the squad for it, but it's different when you're playing 1 game a week to playing 2 games a week, and that will be challenging. But they are winning. They're winning at the moment, so I think that was a big test for Chelsea today, and they're winning, and it is chucking it down with rain in Leicester like I predicted it would do. So they're doing well. They're doing well.
Yeah, indeed.
Snaps can't wait for Conte to be sacked. Clearly not a fan.
Tottenham fan.
Griezmann suspended in the Atletico Madrid game. Mark, did you agree with the red card decision in the City game? I didn't. You know what? I didn't. And I don't like Liverpool. Everyone knows that. But we are neutral on here. And looking at it, I relate it to a situation. If that was, let's say that was, I'm trying to think. If that's Martial running through, he's not looking at the keeper. He goes with it with his foot. It's a horrific collision. But I don't think it's a red card. But in the modern game, it is a red card because they're trying to get rid of contact sport. But you get a red card for doing something totally accidental. His foot is high. I can see why it's a red card. I think the referee would have got much more criticism if he hadn't given it, because City lose their goalkeeper and a Liverpool player stays on the pitch. I just think it's one of those situations, really, that it will divide opinion, and whichever way it goes, we just have to accept it, because I don't think there's a definitive answer.
Whoever commented Griezmann suspended for the game? Griezmann is actually suspended and therefore obviously not playing. So maybe that will play into Valencia's hands. L11551 says, what's your thoughts on Spurs versus Everton? It's going exactly as I predicted, 2-0. I think Spurs will win. Spurs are a very, very good side. If Spurs were still playing at White Hart Lane this year, I would put them as one of the favourites to win the title. Their progression over the last 3 years has been fantastic under Pochettino. I think they've bought really well. I think Aurier is better than Kyle Walker. I think Sanchez from Ajax will be a really good centre-back. And I think Llorente was brilliant at Swansea and will be a brilliant backup for Kane. I think Spurs have got a very good team. I would be gutted if I was a Spurs fan, because you're not going to win the league because you're playing at Wembley. And that's simply it. I think if you weren't playing at Wembley, you would be a very strong candidate for winning the title. But Wembley is going to undo you, and you won't have enough points to win the title. You've got no home advantage this year. But when they go to places like Everton and roller coaster them like they are, I'm not surprised. Everton are a good side. Spurs are a very good side. Yeah, I agree with that. I think, well, exactly what you said. I think they'd be up there in terms of winning the league. Not only have they brought in fantastic players, and Serge Aurier, who's obviously won things, which is what they lacked, but the players that they had last season are young, and they're always going to be developing. Players like Harry Kane, Dele Alli are only going to get better. So look, it is a shame if you're a Tottenham fan in terms of moving to Wembley, but you wanted to make a quick buck, and you've got that in detriment to your league form.
Good questions coming in the general sense now. So Alex Gaming and Nick McCool says, where do you think Liverpool will finish? I'll let you answer that one, Xander. What do you think Liverpool's league season has in store for them? I think they'll finish fourth. I think Chelsea will finish above them, along with United and City. I think they'll be fourth. I just think they're always going to be winning. They're always going to beat teams because they've got such a fantastic attack. However, their defence is just far too weak for me, and they didn't get Virgil van Dijk, which could have turned things around. I think if they did, you might see them creep up near that second and third spot. But without him, they've got defensive issues, and especially playing twice or three times a week now, the fact that they're in the Champions League, I think you'll see them finish at fourth. Yes, just having a quick look on Twitter, see if there's any news flying in. How long do we think Wenger will stay in charge of Arsenal? Definitely this season, maybe longer. Xander, any thoughts on that?
It's a difficult one because I think if you were to see him sacked, you would have seen him sacked last season. I think it's Kroenke or Gazidis said this season, last season was a catalyst for change for Arsenal. They gave him a new contract. They said they were going to spend big. They did on Lacazette, but other than that, they haven't strengthened too much. And I think you're not going to see much improvement. It's the same manager. He's tactically inept. And I think, I don't think the owners are willing to sack him as long as he's bringing in profit and bringing in money. They're happy with that, and they don't really care about the performances on the pitch.
No, they don't seem to. I just wonder what Everton fans are thinking, actually. Should Rooney have started this game? We're not Everton fans, but we can all give our opinion on it. Do you think Rooney should have started today? Do you think that's a mistake?
Oh, it's so difficult. I think Rooney, when everyone's looking at him, when he's under pressure, he usually seems to perform. Like I said, like he did when he got knocked out in his kitchen, and he's done it many times in the past. So I think I think he should have started today, actually. I think it's the right decision. He's obviously got the player with quality. He loves Everton, and he's actually been on red-hot form so far this season. So I think he should have started, but it is a difficult one, and I don't think you would have seen too many people bat an eyelid if he was left out.
No. Definitely a sign of the manager backing him anyway.
Yes. He said he was very disappointed, and punishments will be made within the club. However, obviously he has started today. It is sad that as well, isn't it, Mark? You not only this recent event, but over his career, you've seen a player of so much potential, so much ability, and for him to throw it away by doing stupid things like smoking and drinking and not keeping himself fit as much as players like Ronaldo do, it's just a shame, really. I think he could be up there with the best players ever.
Yeah. It all comes down to fitness levels, and I just don't think he's maintained them well enough. But you know what? All-time England goal scorer, all-time United goal scorer. He's had a very, very good career at United and at England. And you know, I think at the start of it, if he was offered what he's got at the end of it, he'd probably take it. But I also do agree with a lot of people that it could have been better.
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
It's got to be near 3 minutes, I think, until the games restart. Just to give you another idea of the scores at half-time so far: Arsenal 2-0 versus Bournemouth, Brighton versus West Brom 1-0, Everton versus Spurs 2-0 Spurs, Leicester Chelsea. Chelsea are up there with a goal from Morata, and Watford Southampton. Watford are up, although they are away. With a goal from Decore, who Mark would have put in his fantasy league team.
I would. I was thinking about doing it, and I didn't. So, you know, can't moan too much. Had the opportunity.
I was thinking about putting Danny Welbeck in there as well.
Yeah, but I nearly swore then. I bet you weren't. But how are you all doing on your Fantasy Premier League? If anybody does it, let us know. The link in the video description. I'm doing all right. Got Gabriel Jesus and I've got Harry Kane, so not too bad. Defensively, I'm trying to think. I know I've got a few United players, so I've got De Gea and Bailly. I think I have a Spurs. I might have a Spurs defender. I've definitely got a West Brom one, so that's not great.
Mark, Tubes, and some other people. Sean questioned it. Is Shawcross available for the match? No. Tubes just said Shawcross is injured, which will obviously be a massive positive for United, as Shawcross obviously is their rock in the back for them.
Yeah, well, they are quite strong at the back, Stoke. Just very quickly on them, they've got Shawcross, they've got Zuma on loan from Chelsea, and they've got Martins Indy as well. So very physical, but as is Lukaku. So instead against, interesting to see who they bring in.
I think you'll see Lukaku being isolated today. However, doing a lot of the behind-the-scenes work. I think you'll see Lukaku pull some defenders away, and maybe, depending on who starts, obviously, but someone like Mkhitaryan or Mata popping up with a goal. However, you know, Lukaku's game today, I think, some people, to the untrained eye, could be a poor performance, but he does a lot of running, dragging defenders out of the way, and I think, like I said, you'll see players like Mkhitaryan and Mata pop up with a goal. You love DT, don't you, Mark? Deadly Havoc said DT versus Troops. Who do you think? DT or Troops? You love him, don't you?
I don't watch Arsenal. I know who one of them is. I've never ever seen the other guy. I've heard of him. I've never watched him talk. I've seen clips on Twitter of the DT guy, but I've never seen anything of the other one. I'm not gonna lie and say I haven't heard of him, and obviously I know who Robbie is, but I've got no idea.
To be fair, Robbie seems like a good lad. Like he's never like over the top and dramatic and scripted like DT and Troops are. And to be fair to him, he's making money, he's getting views, and fair play to him. Can't knock it.
Might be you in a couple of years with your Real Madrid fan TV. You never know. You never know. We're nearly about ready to kick off. What I might do, Xander, is just for a couple of minutes, just leave you with it. Just while
that's cool.
I'm going to go and get myself a cup of tea and pop to the toilet. So interact. Second half will be kicking off any minute anyway. Brighton 1-0 up against West Brom. That's a bit of a surprise. I thought West Brom would have the experience to go down there and get a result. But first ever Premier League goal for them. They're 1-0 up at the moment. I'll be back in a minute. Xander's with you.
Right, I'll see you in a bit, Mark. Yeah, that is like Mark said, it is a surprise. West Brom did bring in Krychowiak. Who else did they bring in? They brought in a few other good signings, and I thought you'd see them in the top half of the table, maybe just under Everton, maybe sitting in at 8th. But Brighton getting a goal, fantastic. I always do want the teams that come up to do well and stay up, because it's nice to see new teams in the league, isn't it? Let's check out some of the comments. What are you guys saying? Get your comments in. Chad Sproul says he reckons Morata will get the golden boot. Like I said, he's got the ability to do so. He showed that at Madrid and Juventus. He's got a fantastic shot to goal conversion rate. It's just, like I've said in my past few videos, I just think in terms of Chelsea winning the league, I don't think you'll see them doing it. I think you'll see them struggle, and consequently, so will Morata. Tubes, I'm actually Dutch, mate. He said speak some Spanish. I'm Dutch, so I can speak some Dutch for you if you want. But I actually am living in Madrid at the moment, yeah. James B said, Sander, who is the current best player in the Premier League? It's a good shout. I think in terms of the striker, I think Aguero's got to be up there. He's done it for so many years. He's got to be up there. Liam Halliwell, thanks, mate. Appreciate all the support. Kofi, Mark and Sander, would you be disappointed if Man United were to draw today? Yeah, would be disappointed, but I'm sure Mark will touch on that later. Luca, I'm 16, mate, 17 on the 3rd of October. Right, we've kicked off, I think. Let's see if there's any other news in the other games. I think it is still 1-0. I think the other games have remained the same. We kicked off. First half ended in the Valencia Atletico Madrid game, for any of you that are wondering. Still 0-0 there. Arsenal still at 2-0, I think. Not sure if they've kicked off. Yeah, we are underway, but still the same. Let's get in the comments again. Where do you think Everton will come, says Harvey Play. I think they'll probably come 7th, but I think you could see them, like I said earlier, get 6th, get 6th above Arsenal if Sanchez does leave in January. Professor FC, me and Mark are not related, mate. We're not. I just rung in about a year ago this time on Skype Goldbridge, got my lucky break, and I'm here with you guys. Yeah, Glenn Murphy, I am only 16, pal. Shaka Phillips, Sander, next summer when United are title winners and you're given 250 budget to spend on players and you spend it on 5, who would they be? It's a difficult question, mate. I'd definitely look to bring in a winger. The key areas I think United need strengthening is a winger on the right-hand side. I would have loved Ousmane Dembele. I think he would have been my ideal signing. I think maybe, depending on how Lindelof plays, maybe another centre-back, maybe another... maybe a left-back if Shaw doesn't play well, and a right-back. So there are areas to strengthen. 3-0 Spurs, I think we're getting in. Is that true? Let's have a look. Obviously, I'm not watching the games because I'm not allowed. Haven't got anything there at the moment, but if Tubes, can you confirm that, mate, for me? Spurs got a lot of people saying Spurs have scored. I'll trust you lot and say Spurs. I'm not seeing anything, but if they have scored, then that's exactly what me and Mark predicted, isn't it? More of the same. Fair play to them. It's testament to how much damage Wembley is doing for them. 2-0 Brighton, people are saying it's all going off like a bottle of pop. It's annoying because I can't see the games. I'm looking at the Premier League website on my laptop, getting some info off there. Yeah, Spurs have scored 3-0. You are right, as Kane scored. Let's have a little look. Can't check. Bloody nightmare. I think it's 3-0 Spurs. Wait, Mark can't hear me yet. Not quite yet. There we go. Yeah, Mark, it's 3-0 Spurs, and apparently it's 2-0 Brighton.
Well, missed a couple of goals. Yeah, Pascal Gross with his second. Harry Kane with his second. Spurs putting Everton to bed. That's well, nearly said something about Rooney then. No, we won't say that. Yes, well, I did predict it. I can't lie, and I think that's the difference.
Who's that girl on my Twitter? That's just a very good friend of mine. I have good relations with. Anyway, moving on. Chelsea goal apparently coming in from Chad Sproul. He's a regular watcher.
It is. It's 2-0 to Chelsea.
It's all going off.
It is all going off, and all not the shock I wanted in that one. If I'm totally honest, from a United perspective, I would have quite liked Leicester to get some points today, but it's making it very interesting, isn't it? Chelsea winning, Spurs winning, Arsenal winning.
We're not seeing Iheanacho getting a lot of game time so far. He started on the bench, I think. Yeah, I think stick him up there. Just try and integrate him in the team. He's always going to get goals. And I think he was a fantastic signing for Leicester, but we just haven't seen him featured. I'm
glad Harry Kane scored too, actually, because I did take Aguero out of my fantasy Premier League team to put Kane in. And
did he score today, Aguero?
Yeah,
Aguero he did.
I think Aguero definitely got. Yeah, Aguero got 1. Gabriel Jesus got 2, and
Sane
got 2. He got an assist, Aguero, though, didn't he? Because he definitely set up.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah, man. So.
Arsenal 2-1 apparently coming in from Sakir Udin. Can you get confirmation on that, Mark?
I haven't seen confirmation of that. Kante scoring the second goal for Chelsea. He's not just a water carrier. He can score goals as well.
We're going to see the media getting back up his arse now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Like the Kante bandwagon.
Give us some thoughts about sort of the watch-along games you want us to do, actually, because we are we're going to do Spurs versus Dortmund on Wednesday night. It's 3-0. Xander's got that wrong. It's 3-0 to Arsenal, not 2-1.
Oh, I haven't got it wrong. It was Chad Sproul, I think it was, that said that. Blame it, not me.
You've got it wrong. It's 3-0. It's Danny Welbeck. I'm on for a perfect score there, although I bet they'll get a fourth. I did say 3-0 to Arsenal. In fact, I can tell you what my exact scores were, because I do the Super Brew thing, which is a website we use on the United Stand, and it's a predictor league, and I can tell you what my score predictions were, so we can either laugh at me or I was right. So let me have a look. They're showing me next week. Don't want them.
Oh, it wasn't Chad Sproul that said that 2-1. It was Shakir Udin, I think it was. Sorry, Chad, mate. I apologise.
So I predicted 3-0 to Arsenal, which it is at the moment. I predicted 1-1 between Brighton and West Brom, which I'm not going to get, obviously, because it's 2-0 to Brighton. I did predict Chelsea to beat 2-0 at Leicester, which they are at the moment. I predicted Spurs to win 3-1 at Everton. And I predicted Southampton to beat Watford 2-1, so I need them to score 2. So I've got 3 absolute bang-on results nearly at the moment, which obviously there's still ages left, so that's not going to work out. But okay.
Quite a high-scoring game so far, then.
Yeah, well, as long as your team's done well, I think it will make out. It's going to make for a very good match of the day. Personally, that's all going to be dependent on Manchester United winning this evening, but hopefully they will. And then it's going to make.
Just on that United fixture.
Hello. He's gone. He was probably going to say something. Oh, he's there. He's back again.
Mark?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, sweet. Yeah, just quickly on that United Stoke game. It was this fixture last season. We drew both games, I think it was. So if we can win this, it's showing that we've really changed and that we can put these kind of teams to bed. But yeah. What, did I just lose you for a bit then?
Yeah, we lost you a bit of audio there. All the big teams winning in the 3 o'clock kickoffs anyway. Spurs, Chelsea, Arsenal. Chelsea are getting into a bit of a groove. I thought that was a tough game for them away to Leicester, but we don't want that actually. We don't want the big teams just beating everybody every week, because that gets quite boring. But the Premier League's not like that. I'm sure it won't be like that. Have you gone again? I know you're not.
No. No, then, like you said, it turns into a little bit of a La Liga situation when you get a clear divide between the top teams and the bottom teams are just far away, and it takes the competitive edge out of it. But I don't think you'll get that. To be fair, we haven't seen many up. Actually, we have. We saw Watford draw with Liverpool, was an upset. Stoke beat Arsenal, which was an upset. So there is still that kind of competitive edge.
Yeah, no upsets today so far, unless you're a Liverpool fan. I've said that. That's my little thing for today.
So happy
Leeds
with
are beating Burton 3-0. If you've got any interest in Leeds United, they're winning 3-0 against Burton. They beat Forest actually just before the international break, so Leeds are doing quite well.
I'm not even going to make the joke.
Oh yeah, of course I'm a Forest fan. So yeah, forget.
It's half time between Valencia and Atletico Madrid, 0-0 there for any of you that were wondering.
Disease Gaming makes a good point. Will you do a Champions League final and a World Cup final watch along when it comes to on this channel? That would be the plan. If the channel's still around, then I think the watch alongs are the way to go. Considering we did Liverpool Man City watch along, we had about 1,000 people watching. This one's a more general one, but we're just trying new things out. We probably won't do this next week at 3 o'clock because with lots of other games going on, I think watch-alongs work better when you're actually watching a game, which it's impossible to do when there's so many games going on. So you learn lessons when you start something new, and it's nice to have. If you've been part of it, great. It's been nice to have that little bit of interaction on this, but we'll have some shows that work and some that we don't. I desperately want to do a Serie A sort of weekly show. It might go down like a lead balloon. Some people might be really interested in it. If it goes down like a lead balloon, we'll look at other ways of doing content. So that's how it'll work on That's Football. But we will be very generic and neutral and cover a lot of things on it. So I think it's going to work out quite well. Just keep spreading the word about it. Tell your mates, tell your friends. It's our job and your job to tell us what topics to talk about. But in general, what we'll be looking at is what's the big topics of the weekend and each day, and sort of do videos in and around that. Coupled it up with, I did a Premier League preview. I think Xander's going to do as a Champions League one. So there's going to be daily content on here, so get involved and have your say. That's what we want.
Who was it? Edwin Castro asked, is Pereira starting? Yes, he is starting on the left-hand side, which is interesting as United needed a left winger who can put a decent ball in. But yeah, he is starting 0-0 there still at the moment.
I'll just leave you to it, Xander, for a minute. I'm just going to get some water.
All right, no worries, mate. Yeah, right, get your comment. I'll tell you what, I love this interaction in the comments. I'm sorry, I can't do it in the... I'm going to make sure I can be able to do this in the upcoming videos when it's just me presenting. Mark, do you think Arsenal can win Europa League? Dumb Gamer 21. Mark obviously isn't here at the moment, but I'll answer that question. I think they can. I just don't think Arsene Wenger will want to take it seriously. I think he'll want to get that top four again. And he'll just pack it in terms of Europa League and just play a youth side, really. I think Arsenal fans are underestimating the Europa League the quality of the Europa League. They say, oh, well, we can win with a youth side, but when you're going to places like Zorya away, and you're playing on not even grass, you're playing on mud. It's different. It's more difficult than they think it is. Mark and Sander, thoughts on Man United v Stoke City predictions. Kofi, I'm sure Mark will do that on the United stand watch along. Head over there at around 4 o'clock when Mark will be talking all things United and Stoke in about an hour.
About 5 minutes.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
All right. Sander, would you punch Mark for 100 mil? Give me £2, mate. I'm joking.
You'd have to have a long reach from Madrid.
Yeah, Mark's back now. AE7. Vavavoom141. I've done a few videos on this channel so far. If you should go check that out. I did the Battle of London. I did the Barcelona versus Real Madrid, who I think will come out on top, and also the Player of the Season predictions, who I actually put Gabriel Jesus in at number 2, which is a controversial prediction. But, he scored 2 goals today, I think it was, playing very well. And I think you might see City even go on and win the league. And I think, like I said, he'll be at the forefront of that success. Who would win in a fight between Pogba and Lallana? I'm going to give my... that doesn't even need answering. Lallana.
Yeah, as if Lallana. Okay. I am going to end the stream there because I've just realised team news will come in for United in about 9 minutes time, and I need to set up the stream for that. So thanks for everybody who's joined us this afternoon. We are just trying new things, so if you've enjoyed it, do keep getting involved with the channel. Make sure that you have subscribed, and if you have subscribed or not, make sure you click that notification bell which is next to it, because that'll give you a notification when we load content up, and get involved. All I say is spread the word, let people know about us, because you'll have friends who support different clubs. We're going to be very interactive with the live comments, and you know, if there is a big topic to discuss, we'll just go live and interact, and that's how we do things. So it will very, very much be about your opinion as much as ours. So thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for coming on, Xander.
Always a pleasure, Mark. Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
No worries, and thanks to everybody at home. And if you're a United fan, we're going to be live on the United stand. That's the United stand in about 10 minutes time. There's a live stream. The stream's up, it's just we're not live yet, so we'll see you over there in a little bit. But thanks everybody. Next watch along, a few people asking there, will be Dortmund Spurs on Wednesday night. So thanks everyone for watching. We'll have content on here before then. Thanks for watching.